Zionism and Calvinism are very different. Calvinism actually has a lot of definitions, so it's very hard to pin down on one person. One person could mean Calvinism in the sense of we believe in monergism, right? Which is the idea that God alone is he's the only contributing factor to salvation. Man cannot do anything at all to even be in relationship with God. It's God from the beginning, it's God at the end, it's God in the middle. You really don't do anything to contribute to your salvation. That's kind of the idea. Then there are other forms of Calvinism, which weren't actually, Calvinist, I could say, right? Like if you read the Institutes of John Calvin, he definitely believes some things that, quote unquote Calvinists don't believe. So you have a lot of wide ranging ideas. The specific brand of Calvinism that I was brought into, they call it TULIP, right? And it's a part of Calvinism. It's basically, they call it the doctrines of grace. It starts with total depravity, that's the T, unconditional election, which is the U. The L is limited atonement. The I is irresistible grace, and the P is perseverance of the saints. All of these doctrines come together to create kind of the general makeup of a lot of Protestant denominations today. The total depravity being no man can even come to faith in God because he's so evil and wicked. He's basically depraved, right? And that's true to a degree. Like we certainly accept in orthodoxy that we do have the consequences of original sin. Yeah. We don't have the ability to like just kind of correct our own nature. We do have a corrupted nature, right? That longs to do evil things, and we have to fight against that nature, right? And then, but it really takes it so far to where like a person can't even accept the gospel, right? Because we're too depraved. We can't even respond to the grace of God. So there's that. And then you have unconditional election, which is you're not elected because of your faith in Christ. You're elected because God chose you to have faith in Christ, right? So it takes
That's the weird one. It's a weird one.
Yeah, that's a very strange one. It's one I accepted for most of my life. I thought that was something I had to accept in order to be a Christian, but that was just my ignorance, right? And, just me not being aware of what the church has always taught. Limited atonement is also a strange one because the scriptures do quite explicitly say that Christ died for the world, right? Multiple times. The idea there kind of ties in with the last concept that I brought up, right? If it's unconditional election, then the conclusion is that the atonement is not for everybody, right? It's really only for those who are elect. Only the elect can benefit from the atonement is the idea. So in a sense, like we do agree that only those who partake in the atonement will receive the benefits of it. But in reality, in true orthodoxy, you have the teaching that Christ's death is, of course, it's for everybody. He calls all men to receive the benefits of it. And then the irresistible grace, that's the I. And it's kind of, again, ties in with the rest of the doctrines. You're irresistibly called. When Paul was met on the road to Damascus in that paradigm, he had no choice. He was called by God and he was going to do what God said, regardless of, like Paul had no say in the matter is essentially.
No free will, right? Yeah.
And neither do we, right? So like if we accept Christ, if we come to faith in Christ, start being in the church, the idea of irresistible grace is God has called you and you have become because you really couldn't resist, right? Mm-hmm. Which ties into the next doctrine, which is perseverance of the saints. And that doctrine teaches that once you're saved, you are always saved. We call this OSAS, like just to kind of save time. OSAS is a huge deal. It's a big psychological boost for people in that paradigm because they think like, oh, I'm in Christ. I'm doing all of these things. I'm believing in him. Thus, I could never be lost, right? I could never apostatize. I can't fall away from the faith. I mean, I can, bring up lots and lots of scriptures to show that this is clearly not the teaching. But nevertheless, like they find a way. They have some different verses that they go to. And I know some of them that they would use to try and prove this idea that you can't fall away once you become a Christian.
Is there a way of knowing if you're among the elect?
No. No, there really
Oh,
isn't. I
okay.
mean, it's really all self-affirming, right? If you feel that you've done all the things or you match all the criteria of what a Christian is, which, a non-denominational or any type of Protestantism, honestly, for the most part, it's very difficult to really like put a pin in like what is a Christian, right? Like what is the gospel? Like if you were to lay
Hmm.
it down and say like it has to be exact, does a person have to believe and do to be saved? In their paradigm, right? There really is no dogmatic, like, oh, we can say that for sure. It's really just more self affirming. Like, what do I feel?